Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, of course, which is Mansell Media Corner. In today's video, like yesterday, which was my Star Wars collection, I am a massive fan of the Gerry Anderson television shows, especially Thunderbirds, but today's video I'm going to show you my Gerry Anderson collection. So without further ado, I've got a couple of VHSs. So this was brought out by Polygram Video, and this episode features Path of Destruction and Elias Mr. Hackenbacker, and of course got the legendary Thunderbird 1. There's the back. And forefront video back in the day, like I was going to say mid 1990s, released some VHSs of various episodes, and of course the legendary Stingray with Troy Tempest. Of course Stingray itself. At the back you got Bones, I think, and Troy Tempest. There's the main man himself. And bit of a black and white show, I believe, but it's Fireball XL5 with Bobby the Robot and Steve Zodiac. And he got 4 episodes on this VHS. Here's the front. Here's the Zodiac. And the back. And another black and white episode, which is Supercar with Mike Mercury. I believe my good friend Jim Jam Movies and TV, which is James Millership. I think he's got this. I think it was released by Network. But there's Supercar, and there's Mike Mercury, and there's the various characters. And of course got going with the classic Captain Scarlet from, I think this was 1967. There's the main man there. Again is on the side. Colonel White, I think it was. And I have this on Blu-ray, which I'll show you in a little bit, but we have the Thunderbirds I Go VHS with Thunderbird 5 and Thunderbird 3. And there's the back with the legendary hood. The hood, pardon, there's Thunderbird 3. Then, not too long ago, a couple of months ago, I think it was, my good friend Jim Jam Moves in TV sent me my very first ever subscriber mail, and this show, I think, was the second to last, I think, of live action with proper actors, and it is 2 episodes of Space 1999 with Martin Landau and Barbara Bain. And this I recently got in one of my rare epic rants. But if you like your concert and Gerry Anderson, this is a fantastic at the Birmingham Symphony Hall. And the person who kind of narrates this is John Coleshaw. These are like random track listings, but they're pretty easy to easy listening type of vibe. There's the disc. There's a pamphlet there, because this was brought out by Gerry Anderson Entertainment, I think it is. And there's the pamphlet. And there were 2 things what scared me, pardon me, in the 1980s. One being a famous music video from 1983, which is Michael Jackson's Thriller. Still can't watch it, by the way. And when I was a little lad, this show, what I'm going to show, had a scary villain, which isn't as scary now, but of course it's Terror Hawks, and this is volume 3, and here she is, Zelda. And of course the robot there was voiced by the late great Windsor Davis, of course, and what an actor he was. And again, it's brought out by my good friend Jim Jam Movies and TV favourite label, no longer with us, which is Network, and I think this was the final volume. And another thing what Jim Jam Movies and TV gave me for my subscriber mail is Captain Scarlet. And this is volume 1, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's Network in a really good red case. There's the emblem. It's got the awesome episode, which I like, White as No. And I was on about the original Gerry Anderson in concert, which is Stand By Fraction, and there it is. Again, like I said, you know, if you like your Gerry Anderson music and like concerts, a lot of people in the film community do a lot like their concerts, but I highly recommend this particular concert. There's some of the images, of course. They're like great. Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, I think, still alive. And again, this is John Culshaw, the great John Culshaw, narrates this. He also does a song, I think it was called Not Now Parker, which I think my friend Tony over the Retro Movie Zone may have had on vinyl, I think he was saying, or CD. And I was on about the VHS of Thunderbirds I Go. This is brought out by Fabulous Entertainment, but what a great image of the Tracy brothers. And here's the back. Here's the side. And like Arrow, it's like a mini dossier of images and about the film. There's a flyer for the film. There's certain flyers back in the day, back in the 60s for the film. There's the film credits. And I think this came out a year later or two, but this is Thunderbird 6. There's the front, there's the side, and there's the back, and like the first one, this has got almost the same, of course, the very famous meme of just the Gerry Anderson puppets laughing. There's the poster. There's the great Barry Gray, who did a lot of the composing the Gerry Anderson films. And there's a bit of there's a lot of images as well. So pardon me, they are my DVDs and DVDs, Blu-ray and VHS, but it doesn't end right there. I've got a couple of books. Pardon me. And this book came out in 1989, and if you want to know a lot about the Gerry Anderson episodes guide, this is an awesome book. And it tells you who directed the episode and the hypnosis, of course. The great part at me lady. It was voiced by the late great David Graham, and of course the ever so menacing the Hood with his hypnotic eyes. I think you can get this particular book quite cheap on World of Books. Again, an episode called The Protectors, I think, with the late great Robert Vaughan. There's Martin Landau, and this is covering all of the space 1999. And the show, I think, came out in, I'm going to say 1987, Dick Spanner. And back a couple of years ago now, this was to do with the 50 years of Thunderbirds, The Vault. But like I always say, if you like your Gerry Anderson, and especially Thunderbirds, pardon me, this is an awesome book. Mainly talks about Thunderbirds, but you have like lots of other things included. And there's, I think they were called cigarette cards for kids with images of the characters. Yeah, I think you can get most of these on World of Books. But like I always say, though, if you're into your Gerry Anderson like I am, these books are amazing. And there's the side. There's the back being Thunderbird 2, which is my favourite Thunderbirds. And I think I've spoke about this, but to my friend, fellow YouTube, I'm going to mention his name too many times. Jim Jam Movies and TV, which is James Millership. And we were on about, the late, great John Pertwee. And in Wolverhampton there's an art gallery, I think it is. And about 1992, I'm going to say I went to Wolverhampton Art Gallery with my parents, and there was a Gerry Anderson exhibition, and they had the Mark Knopfler puppet variation of Calling Elvis. But yeah, this is Fab Facts. There's the hood, but it's really intriguing, you know. So, and it tells you the first screenings of all of the Gerry Anderson shows. So Thunderbirds came out in 1966, which was the year, I believe, England won the World Cup. But the only and of course 1992, if you remember, was the year, I think it was Anthea Turner built Tracy Island, of course, which was a big selling toy at the time. And again, turned up, we've got the three classic Gerry Anderson shows, of course, which is covers Stingray, Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds. This is Super Mario Nation Classics. And there's an image of Stingray's villain, which is Titan, I think his name was. And a bit about the characters. Of course, the legend that is Brains. Bottom one. And then we go into Captain Black, who looks a bit like Rowan Atkinson's Mr. Bean. And it shows you about some of the episodes, some of the memorabilia to do with Captain Scarlet, mainly like books, etc. back in the day. And this talks about some of the post at the big three, the Gerry Anderson, which is the Secret Service with Father Stanley Unwin, I think his name is. And I think my good friend Stuart George, I think, picked this up, which is a lavish box set, which is Space 1999 Destination Moonbase Alpha. Of course, the classic lineup with Catherine Shell, I think her name is. Of course, there's there's the real life husband and wife at the time, which is Barbara Bain and Martin Landau. To tell you what year it. Like I say, you can get most of these on World of Books website. So yeah, so that's Super Mario Racing Classics. So before I go, let me know what are your favourite Gerry Anderson television shows? Like always, I like reading the comments and replying because you guys are amazing. So with that being said, thank you for watching Mansell Media Corner, especially my Gerry Anderson collection, and don't forget to like, please share and subscribe, and goodbye folks, goodbye.